listening to Proof Text, a Glossa House podcast by Dr. T. Michael W. Halcomb, Dr. Fredrick J. Long, Dr. Mario Melendez, Dr. Jennifer Noonan, and J. M. Smith. Welcome and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Proof Text. I'm Michael Halcomb. I'm here with Dr. Fredrick J. Long, and we are doing another GrammarPoint episode. We're talking about nouns. And in the previous episode, if you didn't get it or if you need to review, we just gave like a general definition of nouns and talked about some other more complex things like valency and so on and so forth. In this particular episode, as we talk about nouns, we're going to talk about the concept of number. Because in the previous episode, we also talked about case. So we're going to talk about number. And while Fred is starting to explain number, I'm going to pull the Greek text up on the screen for you guys to watch or to see, and maybe we'll show you some examples of what we're talking about. So Fred, what is grammatical number with regard to onomata, nouns?
Well, number has to do with singular or plural. So nouns have three attributes: gender, number, and case. And so number just has to do with how many are being marked grammatically. So when you learn nouns, typically you'll learn endings, and you'll learn case endings: nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, and there'll be two columns. And the reason there's two columns is because the first column will represent the singular number, and the second column will represent the plural ending, the plural number, and the endings that noun will take. Now, some nouns don't occur very often or ever in the plural, and it may just have to do with the concept that they represent. I'm thinking of one right now with the word Zoe. I don't know if that ever occurs in the plural. I kind of doubt it. But
What about like rain?
Like life. Well, life. Whereas biu from bios, that does occur in the plural, lives, and actually is a kind of a generic title of a literary genre of biography. But Zoe is kind of it kind of represents kind of a quality of life, and so it's odd to talk about that in the plural. Rain, yeah, I guess in English is an example of a noun that we don't put into the plural. Yeah.
If you look
singular and plural.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you look at Galatians 1 here, I mean, just the first verse, right, we can pinpoint a couple of examples. You have Pavlos, which is in the singular, and then scoot over a few words to the right, and you have Anthropon, which is in the plural.
Plural, yeah.
And then scoot over a few words to the right, and you have Anthropou, which is in the singular.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think personal names would be another example of nouns that will not typically be in the plural ever. Right. I was going to say there are some nouns proper nouns that don't show endings at all, and those are typically nouns that are coming in from another language. They won't have endings, and that can be kind of tricky, like Miriam, Dawid,
Mikhail.
Yeah. And these are loan words, kind of, in a sense. They're names, and they can be tricky because you don't know what case they're in. You don't know, and you have to rely on context, or if they have the article with them. But singular, plural, I don't know if there's much complexity to that, except sometimes the translations may not represent a plural noun in English. They might just talk about heaven, and it might be heavens in the Greek text. I think the qualifier, like every or all, that's an adjective in Greek, but sometimes it might be hard to render, like every soul or all souls. There can be just different mankind or humankind. Sometimes you might be surprised by whether something is in the plural or singular in the Greek. So it is something to pay attention to uh, when you're looking at it, and then to ask the question, well, why is it this way? So there is an adjective that's used as a noun, epuranius, epuronios, which means heavenly, and then Paul talks about being seated in the heavenlies, plural, or heavenly realms or places. What is he talking about? What is he envisioning by the plural of the heavenly places in the heavenly realms? And it's not just the regular word for heaven, but it's got the ep on the front, ep urani os. So that's an adjective that's used as a noun, and it's put into the plural, and it makes you wonder, what is it that Paul is referring to there?
Yeah, I was just looking at the passage in Galatians there. I mean, another one, charis, right? You don't usually see something like that in the plural.
Yeah.
Although it's not impossible, but
Yeah.
you just don't really see it. And then
Yeah.
I like you said, some words you see perhaps in the plural, maybe, and rarely in the singular. And then you have other words like ochlos, which is crowd, which is a plurality of people, yet it's a singular
Yeah.
noun, right?
Yeah, and laos is the same, which means people as well. Laos.
Yeah. So, yeah, some interesting things going on with singularity and plurality.
Yeah.
And sometimes in Greek, I can't think of examples off the top of my head, but you have these instances where maybe the adjective that seems to be modifying the noun will be singular and the noun will be plural, or vice versa. I don't know. I seem to remember seeing that somewhere, but yeah, you do have some funky stuff that goes on with singularity and plurality here and there.
With verbs, you have third singular verbs
Yeah,
can be used with neuter plural
plural.
subjects, and that can really throw beginning students off when they see estin, he is or it is, used with a panta, or something in the plural, pantes, or something like that. So usually it's a neuter kind of entity thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of those funky things about Greek, that plural neuter subject going with the third singular verb. Yeah.
Third singular verb. Yeah.
So there are some things here and there, but these are the basic ideas in general. And yeah, Fred, thanks for the insight, and thanks for watching the podcast. Subscribe to it and share it if you would. We hope that helps.
Interested in growing your ancient language skills but not sure where to start? Glossa House can help. From illustrated readers and short stories to lexicons and grammars, Glossa House offers a variety of resources for beginning, intermediate, and experienced ancient language learners. Head to glossahouse.com today. Glossa House, language resources for the global community.